In just 38 seconds, $72 million in taxpayer funds. Kash Patel didn't expect the receipts. He didn't see the flight logs coming. Cameras captured every micro-expression. The chamber held its breath. What did Congressman Peter Welch reveal that made the FBI director's career crumble in real time? At exactly 2:47 p.m. on a gray Tuesday afternoon, FBI Director Kash Patel walked into the House Oversight Committee hearing room like a man who believed his own press releases. Navy suit pressed sharp, American flag pin gleaming, stack of prepared talking points under his arm. He sat like a director carved in authority, jaw set, eyes scanning the Democratic side of the committee with practiced dismissal. Congressman Peter Welch sat quietly at the far end, manila folder closed, reading glasses perched on his nose. Unlike his more theatrical colleagues, Welch had spent 3 decades in politics, learning that the loudest voice rarely wins. Today, he carried something that would change everything. The first hour crawled through routine questions about FBI budget allocations, domestic terrorism priorities, standard bureaucratic theater. Patel deflected with patriotic rhetoric, his voice carrying the confidence of someone who'd survived worse storms. Every answer ended the same way. I serve at the pleasure of the American people, defending this great nation's security. At 3:24 p.m., Welch opened his folder. Director Patel, Welch's voice carried the Vermont accent that made him sound like everyone's grandfather. I want to discuss government aircraft usage. Patel's knuckles whitened slightly around his water glass. Congressman, I follow all federal guidelines regarding official travel. Every flight is documented and necessary for FBI operations, including your 17 trips to Las Vegas this fiscal year. The chamber temperature dropped. Reporters leaned forward. Patel's prepared answer caught in his throat for half a second before training kicked in. Las Vegas hosts numerous law enforcement conferences, intelligence briefings, and federal coordination meetings. My attendance serves national security interests. Welch nodded slowly, like a professor listening to a student dig their own grave. Of course, and the 8 trips to Miami? The 6 to Chicago? All FBI business? Every trip I take serves the Bureau's mission and the American people's safety. Welch pulled out a thick stack of papers, flight logs, receipts, credit card statements, hotel records, 3 months of forensic accounting that painted a picture no amount of patriotic rhetoric could explain. Director, on March 15th, you flew government aircraft to Las Vegas. Official reason, counterterrorism briefing. But according to these hotel records, Welch held up a receipt. You stayed at the MGM Grand, same weekend as UFC 2086. Coincidence? Patel's face flushed. Congressman, I resent the implication. April 8th, Miami. Official reason, drug cartel coordination. UFC 2087 at the Kaseya Center. You were photographed ringside. Director. Posted on your own social media account. The room erupted. Republicans shouted over each other about selective prosecution and Democratic witch hunts. Democrats demanded order. Committee Chairman James Comer banged his gavel like a man trying to stop an avalanche with a teaspoon. But Welch wasn't finished. May 20th, Chicago, June 3rd. Back to Vegas, June 18th. Denver. Every single trip, director, corresponded with a major UFC event. $72 million in taxpayer-funded aircraft usage. Not for FBI business, for your personal entertainment. Patel stood up, his chair scraping against the marble floor like fingernails on a chalkboard. That is absolutely false. I have never used government resources for personal. Then explain this. Welch produced a photograph, high resolution, crystal clear. Kash Patel, in a private box at UFC 289, beer in hand, laughing with known UFC executives, wearing casual clothes, no FBI security detail in sight. The silence stretched for exactly 38 seconds. Camera zoomed in on Patel's face as the color drained from his cheeks. His mouth opened and cuzzed like a fish pulled from water. The prepared talking points, the patriotic deflections, the righteous indignation, all of it evaporated in the face of photographic evidence. Director, Welch's voice carried the gentleness of a man delivering a death sentence. Would you like to revise your previous statements? That's when Patel's career imploded. The Bureau, those trips were, we coordinate with multiple agencies. The sentences fragmented. The confidence cracked. Years of political training abandoned him when he needed it most. Republican committee members buried their faces in their hands. They defended him for months, called the allegations partisan attacks, staked their reputations on his integrity. Now they sat in stunned silence, watching their champion collapse under the weight of receipts and photo evidence. The American people deserve better, Welch continued, his voice never rising above conversational level. They deserve an FBI director who understands the difference between public service and personal entertainment. They deserve leaders who don't treat taxpayer funds like their personal travel budget. Twitter exploded within minutes. Jetgate Patel trending worldwide. Fox News cut away from regular programming. CNN's breaking news Chiron read, FBI director exposed $72 million USC scandal. Conservative pundits who defended Patel for months suddenly discovered previous commitments. Liberal commentators restrained their celebration, understanding that institutional damage transcends partisan victory. By 4:15 p.m., 3 Republican senators had called for Patel's resignation. By 5:30 p.m., that number reached 12. The White House released a statement at 6:45 p.m. The president has full confidence in the FBI director while the investigation proceeds. Political translation: start packing. Patel left the hearing without taking additional questions, his legal team surrounding him like Secret Service, protecting a fallen president. Outside the Capitol building, protesters had already gathered. "Our money, not your games," they chanted. FBI means integrity. The evidence was overwhelming. Flight logs showing pattern travel to UFC cities, hotel receipts for luxury accommodations, photographs from multiple events, credit card statements revealing personal expenses charged to government accounts, 3 years of systematic abuse documented in forensic detail. The Inspector General's office announced a criminal investigation within 24 hours. The Senate Judiciary Committee scheduled confirmation hearings for Patel's replacement within the week. FBI rank-and-file agents who'd watched their institution's credibility erode under Patel's leadership privately celebrated while publicly maintaining professional neutrality. But the damage extended beyond one man's career. Trust in federal institutions, already fragile, took another devastating blow. Americans watching the hearing understood that their tax dollars had funded someone's personal entertainment. While their communities struggled with crime, their schools needed resources, their infrastructure crumbled. Congressman Welch, speaking to reporters after the hearing, kept his comments brief. Government service is a privilege, not a personal ATM. The American people work too hard for their money to watch it wasted on someone's sports tickets. The moral was simple, devastating, and undeniable. When public servants forget they serve the public has receipts. And in the end, truth doesn't care about your talking points, your political connections, or your patriotic rhetoric. It cares about evidence, and evidence, once revealed, destroys everything built on lies. Within hours, the scandal metastasized beyond Washington's usual damage control mechanisms. Text messages leaked from inside the FBI showed agents expressing shock and embarrassment. "This isn't the bureau I joined," wrote one 20-year veteran to colleagues. "We're supposed to be above reproach." The financial details painted an even uglier picture. Patel hadn't just attended UFC events, he'd stayed in presidential suites, charged $1,000 meals to government cards, upgraded to first-class seats that cost taxpayers triple the standard rate. One weekend in Vegas cost more than most American families earn in 6 months. Former FBI Director James Comey issued a statement at 8:30 p.m. The FBI's credibility depends on the integrity of its leadership. Today's revelations demonstrate a fundamental betrayal of that. Even Christopher Wray, whom Patel had replaced, maintained diplomatic silence, the loudest non-response in Washington politics. But the most damaging revelation came at 9:15 p.m., when investigative journalist Sarah Chen published flight manifests showing Patel had brought guests on government aircraft, UFC executives, personal friends, even his brother-in-law, all flying free on taxpayer dime to sporting events while claiming official business. The White House went into crisis mode. Communications Director Jennifer Martinez held an emergency briefing at 10 p.m., her usual confidence replaced by careful legal language. The president takes these allegations seriously and expects full cooperation with all investigations, she repeated to every question, her voice getting tighter with each iteration. Meanwhile, FBI field offices across the country reported demoralization among agents. Phoenix SAC Maria Rodriguez told her staff, "We enforce the law. We don't get to break it because we think we're special." Similar messages echoed from Seattle to Miami as regional directors tried to preserve institutional morale. The political calculus shifted rapidly. Senator Josh Hawley, usually loyal to conservative appointees, tweeted at 10:47 p.m., "If you can't trust the FBI director with taxpayer money, how can you trust him with national security?" Even Tucker Carlson, Patel's most vocal media defender, opened his show the next night with, "Sometimes the evidence speaks louder than politics." By Thursday morning, additional whistleblowers emerged from within the bureau. Administrative assistants provided email records showing Patel's office routinely lied about trip purposes. Accounting staff revealed systematic pressure to approve questionable expenses. Security personnel confirmed that Patel often ditched official protection detail to party with UFC celebrities. The scope of corruption expanded beyond jets and hotels. Government credit cards paid for premium cable packages in Patel's home office, designer suits from Washington's most expensive tailors, even personal trainer sessions, justified as physical fitness for national security readiness. The man who preached fiscal responsibility had treated the federal treasury like his personal trust fund. Friday brought the knockout blow. Surveillance footage from UFC 29-1 showed Patel in a private gambling room, placing 5-figure bets while FBI agents outside believed he was in meetings with Homeland Security officials. The optics were devastating. America's top law enforcement officer gambling with dirty money while claiming to fight organized crime. Congressional phones rang non-stop. Constituents demanded answers. Town halls erupted in anger. "You work for us," shouted a retired teacher in Ohio. "Our money isn't your playground money," screamed a construction worker in Arizona. The grassroots fury transcended party lines. Taxpayer abuse angers everyone. Legal experts predicted criminal charges within weeks. Federal law prohibits using government resources for personal benefit. The evidence was overwhelming, the pattern clear, the intent obvious. "This isn't a gray area," explained former federal prosecutor Lisa Monaco. "This is textbook corruption." Saturday morning brought Patel's resignation letter, 2 paragraphs of lawyered language claiming health reasons and family priorities. No apology, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, no mention of the $72 million, or the betrayed trust, or the damaged institution he left behind. The letter fooled nobody. By Saturday afternoon, federal marshals were executing search warrants on Patel's Virginia mansion, his Florida condo, his Delaware beach house. The same man who'd authorized raids on political opponents now watched agents catalog his own potential evidence. Within hours, more damaging details emerged. Patel's personal chef had been flown to UFC events at government expense, listed as security consultant. His wife's shopping trips to luxury boutiques were classified as operational reconnaissance. Even his son's college friends received free flights, documented as youth outreach liaisons. The cascade of corruption revealed a man completely detached from reality, someone who genuinely believed taxpayer money existed for his personal entertainment. Former colleagues described a leader who'd lost all sense of public service, treating the FBI director position like membership in an exclusive country club rather than sacred public trust. The FBI deserved better. America deserved better. And on that gray Tuesday afternoon, one congressman with a manila folder reminded everyone that accountability still matters in American democracy, even when it's painful, even when it's embarrassing, even when it destroys careers built on lies. Sometimes the strongest weapon isn't a badge or subpoena. It's receipts, archived and revealed at exactly the right moment. And sometimes justice arrives not with dramatic music or heroic speeches, but with manila folders, flight logs, and the quiet voice of truth speaking truth to power.